Hey guys, so a question I get all the time is how do I find good women to date in Medellin? This is a problem that many foreigners have when they come here. Well, what do I mean by good women? Well, in this instance is women that don't just want you for money. And this is a common theme that all foreigners will usually see, especially if you're white, you look like you're from Europe or the US and you look like you have money. Many women will be very eager to date you and very eager to make you their ATM. So many foreigners, they come here, they go on a few dates and they're like, oh, this is awesome. But the ones that really want a long-term relationship and want someone who's supportive, someone who they can build a life with, an equal partner, find this irritating after a while. Many of my friends ask me, hey, I'm dating these girls, but there's no depth to them. If I stop paying, I'm honestly not sure if they would even care about me. That's a very common question. All types of people are asking this. And today I have some workarounds and some little tips that are going to help you. I'm going to give you a profile of the type of women that you should be looking for. If you follow these, your chances of finding a long-term relationship with someone who's not just after your money is really going to skyrocket. I'm going to get into that in a sec, but first I just want to qualify who this video is for because it doesn't really apply for everyone. If you're in your home country and you have no luck at all with women, you're thinking that you can come to Colombia and all women are going to fall at your feet and you're going to be Brad Pitt / Jesus Christ, this video is not for you because you probably will be stuck with the type of women who just want your money. Also, if you're like 75 years old and you want to come here and you want to date like a 19-year-old, this video is probably not for you either. The third type of person this video is not for is the passport bro who complains that the US has been destroyed by feminism. All women there suck. All like 180 million of them, apparently they suck. So they need to fly to poor countries to find women. I'm not going to talk about the type of women that you would like. So this video also does not apply to you, right? No judgment on all those three types of people that I just said. I just don't want you to waste your time watching this video because what I'm about to tell you does not apply to you. Who does this video apply to? Well, this video applies to you if you're a foreigner and you've done well in dating, pretty good in your own country, but now you've decided to live in Medellin and you've started dating a bit, but you just can't find anyone who's, that next level. Plenty of shallow relationships and might be fun, but you're looking to transition from that point where it's like, all right, fun is fun, but now I want a partner, maybe a wife for the long term. And I'm having no luck because these girls are just not it. So if that's you, then you're gonna love this video. I'm gonna give you a profile of the type of women that you should be looking for. And these types of women will make the best long-term relationships and potentially maybe wives like me, if you're lucky. Well, how did I come to this realization and make up this perfect woman profile? Well, I've spoken to many of my friends who are failing at dating. And I've spoken to many of my friends who have succeeded at dating. They're in very long-term relationships. Some of them are married. Some of them even have kids and they're very happy. So I've taken all that data along with my, observations from, running this YouTube channel, looking at comments, browsing Facebook posts. This is the ultimate profile that I come with that if you go for this type of women, your chances of success are going to go 100 times better, right? And not everyone fits into this mold. I'm going to say there are exceptions to what I'm going to say, but usually if you stick to what I'm about to tell you, things are going to go better for you. With that said, let's dive straight into it. Number one, what should you be looking for when dating a woman in Medellin and maybe in Colombia in general, right? So number one, look for someone who can speak English. If you are fluent in Spanish, this one doesn't apply to you. But if you're like so-so or you don't speak any Spanish at all, how do you think you're going to form a deep relationship if you can't even communicate? You need to find someone who's at least learning English or someone who speaks English well. So you can communicate and you can build that deep bond. This is common sense, but many guys, they come here, don't speak one word of Spanish, don't even try to learn Spanish, date a girl who doesn't speak one word of English and then wonder, why is this relationship not advancing? She just wants my money. Have you ever watched any videos or YouTubes or blogs or anything about women? What's the one thing that they love most from a man? Communication. They love it when a man communicates, right? Why would any good woman go out with a man that they can't even communicate with? Doesn't make sense. If you don't speak Spanish, do not date a woman who does not speak English because it's not going to go well. Number two, pick a woman who has a university degree. I'll admit this day and age, you don't need university to be successful. Pick someone who has a good job. Even if they haven't gone to university, maybe they have a great job, but probably someone working in the nail salon is not going to be a good long-term partner because what are you going to talk about? Not that there's anything wrong with people who work at nail salons or any of these type of jobs. I'm just telling you from what I've seen, these types of relationships usually do not work. So try and go for someone who has a good job or who has been to university, right? This is really going to help you find some better women. And number 3, at this point, I'm going to go against everything you've heard about dating in Medellin. I'm going to tell you something. So pay close attention. Dating apps are not bad. You can use dating apps, but you need to have some sort of filter in place before you go from chatting to them to actually meeting up. And one huge thing is look at their social media, guys, okay? Do not, for the love of God, be so desperate that you just message a woman. She has one photo, nothing else, and you immediately want to meet up with her. And she says, hey, I'm going to bring my friend. I'll meet you at your apartment. And then you say yes. Do not be so desperate. Have some self-control. Do a bit of research. I'm a little bit on the extreme side because I've traveled a lot and I know what can happen to people. Plus, I don't want to get catfished, you know? I don't want to meet up with someone who's looking like a supermodel in the Instagram photos and then end up with, you know, that was their photo from 20 years ago. So I will always do a big background check, and I advise that you do it as well for your own safety. The woman who is going to drug and rob you is probably not going to have photos with their family, photos with their friends, photos traveling. They're probably only going to have selfies of them looking kind of, you know, racy. So if you go and check their Instagram, Facebook, whatever, see how far that goes back. Say they're 30 and they got photos from, you know, when they're 25, traveling with friends, or, you know, hanging out at a Christmas with their family. That's a good sign. If you're going to do some dodgy criminal stuff, why would you have all this on social media? And the next thing that I've seen is a very common trait amongst women who end up with foreigners for long-term relationships and very happy long-term relationships are that the women like to travel or have traveled a lot in their past, especially if you like to travel as well. I'm guessing you like to travel if you're a foreigner and you're here in Colombia. So if you find someone who likes to travel, this is a huge green flag as well. So that's 4 tips I've given you right now. We have a few more to go, so stay with me, right? Number 5, guys, I know that everybody wants to talk about the man pays and all this stuff, but usually what I see in a very, very common theme of guys who end up in bad relationships where they just get taken for a ride and they're basically the ATM is a guy starts to pay at the start of a relationship, which is fine because, you know, we got to wow the women and whatever. But if they keep paying and paying and paying and paying, and then it's like, I want a new iPhone, I need a new computer, you know, my dog died, we need $10,000 for his funeral, and these guys keep paying it, and then they complain, oh, you know, she just wants me for my money. That's your own fault, man. You got to nip this in the bud earlier. One common thing that I see amongst many women who are prideful and usually make better partners for the type of guy that I've qualified at the start of the video, right? So many of you older guys, you don't care. Maybe you're like 60 and you just pay for everything. You don't care because you're happy to have the company of a 20-year-old, right? That's why I said this video is not for you. But if you actually don't want to get taken for a ride, watch very carefully how the woman approaches the date, yeah? So if you tell her, okay, let's go here, this is where the date is, and immediately she says, I'll tell you when I'm ready so you can send the Uber. She wants you to pay for the Uber. This is not going to end well either because immediately she is signaling that she can't pay for her own stuff. And from most circumstances, if you want an equal partner, they're not going to ask you for this. That's how it starts, and then it's going to end up with buy me this, buy me this, buy me this as well. Another thing is, go on the first few dates and see how they act. I am not saying that you need to go 50-50. The thing you need to look out for is if you're constantly paying everything and they don't even try to pay anything because you'll be taken for a ride. If you ever stop paying, they will leave you, I'm telling you. So what you need to do is just see how they act, okay? So many times you go on a date, yes, you pay for the first date, and then maybe you might go for a second date and you might go for coffee and the show or something. If she is not at least offering to pay something, it's just a thought that counts, right? She will be like, hey, please let me get the coffee. There could only be $1 or $2, but it's the fact that she's willing to pull out her wallet and has a bit of pride that she doesn't want a guy paying everything for her. This is going to help you guys a lot. As long as they try, you know, as long as they offer, you can say no, that's fine. You can say, no, I'm going to take care of this. Don't worry about it. But if they don't even offer and they just keep taking money, you are an ATM, my friend. If that's you and that's your relationship now, just try and tell your girl, hey, by the way, we're going to go 50-50 on everything, and then see how long she stays with you. I guarantee it's not going to be very long. A friend of mine who's having some trouble dating right now, he's a great guy, you know, got a great job, really funny, great to be around. He's been dating, but he just can't find anyone who's giving a bit of depth to the relationship. And he's started off, you know, paying for everything and all this stuff. And another friend of his who's married and in a very successful relationship, he says, I don't do any of that. We're 50-50 on everything. The reason for that is you need to approach your romantic relationships how you would approach your friendships. Imagine we're friends. Maybe we just met. We're gonna hang out, we're gonna go for a night out. And I tell you, hey, I'm happy to meet up with you. Let's go, let's hang out. This is gonna be a great night. By the way, as soon as I'm ready, I'll let you know, and you order the Uber so the Uber can pick me up and drop me at the club, right? And also at the club, you're probably gonna pay for all the drinks and all the food. And when I need to go home, you're gonna pay for my Uber as well, right? Think if your friendships were like that, would you be friends with that person? How long would that friendship last? Why, if you want a long-term successful relationship, do you approach that different? Why are you happy to just pay for everything, including the Uber for someone to meet you, and you're expecting that this profile of person who doesn't have the money to pay a $2 Uber, or maybe they do and they just don't want to, is going to be a great long-term partner? Like, it just doesn't add up. We need to be thinking of the end profile of person we want. Because every guy says like, hey, you know, I want someone, well, not every guy actually. Some guys just want a woman who stays at home and cooks food and doesn't do anything. So if that's you, as I said in the start of the video, none of this applies to you, okay? But if you're the type that wants someone independent, wants someone, you know, outgoing, wants someone awesome, then you need to think about the end profile of person you want to end up with and see if their activities or their actions of the person you're dating add up to this end profile. And if they don't, you need to analyze why. A lot of times it's going to be some of these things or these green flags. They're not going to have many of these green flags that I just mentioned. And I know that not all of you guys are going to agree with this, but I'm telling you, this is what I see over and over and over again. Usually guys who follow those 5 steps, those are the common characteristics that I see in women who end up with foreigners for long-term rewarding relationships, and not just these transactional relationships where it's like, I'll be with you if you give me money. They have a word for that in Colombia, and it's called el marrano, and that means the pig, because everyone's eating from the pig. You're just dishing out everything and you're losing parts of yourself along the way. And that's what many of these unsuccessful relationships end up being like if you don't think about your intentions and your end goals before you start dating here. And for nothing else, guys, if you just follow these steps and go out with women that satisfy these criteria, your chances of staying safe in Medellin are going to be so much higher. And if you want to keep going with this and you want some more information and you want to know why it's so different dating in Colombia as opposed to anywhere else in the world, then click this video next because it's got a lot of valuable information.